In your second quarter, your boss, Peter Löscher, had some not so heartening news about the prospects for the business. It looks like the annual revenue is going to be down a bit because of trouble in the wind business, primarily. Though I noticed from pulling some of the numbers, your orders seem to be down a bit. Even infrastructure in cities is down a bit. Can you tell me about the global health of the businesses, the markets that you sell into?
Let's say first differentiate between long cycle and short cycle businesses,
okay.
Though we do have some shifts into the second and third quarter in terms of infrastructure businesses, project business. We see we had a weak quarter for the short cycle. That was also a little bit reflecting the GDP. Mm-hmm. We are getting more tailwind now. Second quarter was good. So this is from the business mix. Regarding the regions, we see a little bit slow start into our new fiscal year or the new calendar year in China. Liquidity was a little bit pulled back in the market. You see that, but it's nothing really mature. And we see that this will recover in the second and third quarter. US is surprisingly good. I think
really?
We get some tailwind from the US market.
What are some of the markets you sell into in the US? What are some products that are big for you?
Energy efficiency in buildings, a very strong market. We see there's a huge demand to really cut the energy bill on the one side. Also, as I said, on medium voltage, low voltage. So I would say the market is somehow recovering.
Now, you spent a lot of time in Asia. You actually directly oversee Asia, correct? Yep. There's again somewhat distressing news out of China. I guess if a 8% growth rate is distressing, but still there's warning signs, and people are waiting for the great slowdown in China infrastructure. Yeah. What can you tell me you're observing over there?
Well, I mean, we saw an impact in the rail business because this was a kind of restructuring also in the whole rail business. But this is a kind of a short-term thing. It will come. We will see that market really coming back.
And Siemens sells a lot into Chinese rail?
And we sell in particular propulsion systems for high speed, for metros. So that's a very good business for us. And after all, as you said, I mean, this is coming from a 9% growth, 9.5% going to 8%. You see a slowdown. We also, and people are, let's say, just waiting, holding a little bit the money together, maybe do some destocking in order to see, but we see that the market is still intact, and we expect also good growth rates in the second half of the year.
How about construction-related stuff? Elevators, HVAC, that kind of thing?
I mean, the real estate market was also impacted by the reduction of liquidity in the market.
Right.
So that means that the real estate is somehow slowing down, but again, on a high level, I would say. What we also see is that the government is looking very much so on energy efficiency, and you have to know that 40% of the global energy consumption comes from buildings. That translates also to China, and that means that now they are investing also in energy efficient buildings, building automation, and this is a market which we definitively are participating.
Other Asian markets that are either looking good or contracting?
I mean, I'm just coming back from what was last week in Indonesia. A very interesting market, 250 million people, a very interesting demographic structure, young people, average income is increasing, and they are blessed with resources. We see that we call it second wave emerging markets. These are the markets which are not that big as the BRIC countries yet, but they have a very strong growth rate. We see that these are markets where to watch and to be.
So do you sell a different class of products in these emerging markets than you do in, say, Europe and the US? Is there in the infrastructure portfolio, could you sort of tell me what you sell in China or in India?
I mean, actually we are present with our complete portfolio in the Asian markets as well. And this is an advantage of Siemens. We are in these countries more than 100 years, also the emerging countries. Yet you have to see that the demand for entry-level products, these are products with a limited feature set, lower price point, is higher than in other countries. And we are developing dedicated products for these markets. We call them smart products. And this is a very successful business model. And we are selling these products very well.
But it's all the same stuff, electrical transmission, trains, building construction equipment.
Indeed.
Okay. How important is the Asia component of your business in terms of growth rates relative to the rest of the country? Is it a 2 or 3x growth rate compared to the other markets you're selling into, or is it still kind of a work in progress?
Actually, we are growing in all markets. Our target is to grow faster than the market and to outperform our competitors. And so if you translate that, coming back to China, we have a market growth of GDP growth of 8%, 8 to 9%. That's also how we see our market growing, and we want to outperform this market in Asia. And this gives you that growth rates wise, it's maybe doubling the growth rates compared to the mature markets. On a lower level yet.
Yes, but nowhere near as big as the developed markets yet, but growing.
Yeah, exactly.
And how about Europe? All the European companies get taken down with the troubles in Europe. Can you tell me what you're seeing in the way of demand there? And
yeah, so we see some slowdown in the markets in Spain and Portugal, also France. Germany is an exception. We have a very strong market also due to our export and strong industries there. It's all about, as you know, about the problems which we do have in the European Union. But I mean, I'm optimistic looking forward. I believe that the European Union holds together. We will get a revival of the markets, and we will get over it.